My name's Ryan Brading. I'm the manager of airport services at the Thunder Bay International Airport. Every airport in Canada has to operate under the same guidelines that Transport Canada publishes. If there's a scenario you can think of, there's a regulation that goes along with it. What makes Thunder Bay so special? So although every airport is responsible for complying with the regulations, we all have our own way of approaching how we're going to comply with the regulations. I'd like to think that we have a lot of ingenuity in operating our airport. The Thunder Bay Airport was one of the first airports in Canada to take their airport firefighting group and their airport maintenance group and merge them into one, and that's an airport operations specialist. So what we have is we have a team of airport operations specialists that operate the airport and perform all the maintenance activities that go along with it under my direction as airport services manager. We had a very unique situation this morning where we had freezing rain overnight, and that caused about ½ inch of ice to form on the wings of the aircraft that haven't even left yet today. And so the airport operations specialist from the Thunder Bay Airport were maintaining the runway all night long and the taxiway and apron systems. So the type of equipment we use are definitely unique to the airport environment. They have 28-foot snow plows. They have a 21-foot metal broom that spins at about 300 to 400 RPM. So we're basically sweeping the asphalt surfaces after we plow it, and then we have a blowing system that blows all of the residual snow and debris away from behind the truck. We have 3 of those specialized trucks. We have several sets of chemical application equipment. So there's several types of chemicals we use on the maneuvering areas where aircraft are moving. We have granular sodium formate, and we have liquid potassium acetate. We use those in different ways in order to give us what we need to melt the snow and manage the friction. But one thing that we do not use is salt, because what that does is obviously it forms a hazard for aircraft, which are made of aluminum. So when you mix salt and aluminum, you get corrosion, and we don't want our aircraft corroding. So some of the innovative technology that we have at the airport is the BORMA system. And what that does is there's monitoring equipment actually installed inside the runway surface itself. So we have basically a miniature weather system installed in the runway that we monitor in the alarm room at all times. So that tells our personnel when the right time is to apply chemical, or when the right time is to sweep the water off the runway, because if you have water in excess of 3 millimeters, it's considered a contaminant, which affects the friction of the aircraft. Our trucks are outfitted to be able to report the level of friction on the runways. And in order for us to report the friction, we have devices that are installed inside the trucks. We drive the trucks up to 50 kilometers an hour. We slam the brakes, and the decelerometer inside the truck tells us how much friction. It's a coefficient of friction reading that was generated from us slamming the brakes. And that information is then used by the pilot to determine whether or not they can land on our runway. If they can't land, we go back out there and we apply chemical, we sweep again, we report new friction until that friction is high enough for them to land. Some of the larger snow removal equipment that we have, they're called the Boschung 9000s, and they're the runway sweepers. So they're outfitted with 2 separate engines, one to control the drive system and one to control the hydraulic drive system. So each motor is 450 horsepower for a total of 900 horsepower per truck. They're diesel operated, of course, and these things are behemoths. The largest blower we have is the largest blower in northwestern Ontario. It's capable of blowing over 7,000 cubic feet per minute of snow. I would have to say that wintertime is definitely the most challenging time to work at an airport. There is non-stop action in a winter environment at the airport. In the airport's history, since it was an airport authority handed down from Transport Canada in 1997, we've never closed the airport due to weather conditions, and we don't plan on closing the airport anytime because of weather conditions. Mother Nature's definitely great at giving us some challenges, so we're even better at dealing with them.